Greetings and welcome to GRUNND PODCAST, a thing that you listen if you like adventure games, art, literature, music, game development and everything in between. Well, today we have a lovely Jean-Baptiste, the mastermind behind an adventure Lancelot's Hangover, the quest for the holy booze. It's a lighthearted hour. We talk about adventures, things that lead to them, some of life's highs and some of the lows. It's really interesting chat. And as this episode comes out, we are running our Kickstarter. So hey, check that one out if you have not already. All them links in the show notes. And don't forget, GRUNND is surreal sci-fi narrative-driven adventure game where your choices matter. Follow us on Twitter, join our Discord, and again, go and check out our Kickstarter. Funny thing, that's a bonus. I totally had to record this intro at home, and now I am in a closed off room under the blanket, reading from my phone and talking into my phone. And I'm getting really hot, and it's it's a new experience. Thank you for agreeing on the.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really happy to talk to you.
I actually have your game, believe it or not.
Good.
So, yeah, I was one evening I was smoking outside and wait, why I haven't asked this guy? Why?
Why? I ask myself the same question. Why Olaf don't contact me?
Yeah. Thank you though. It's a lie, but thank you. We won't get technical much.
Okay.
We will flow outside the engine mostly. And actually, I could not decide which question should go first. One is it your first game? And another one, how did the story came to be? So, is it your first game?
Yes, it is. It's my first commercial game. I made another one, but it just it was a very quick pre-Facebook game, very very shitty and crappy one. But it was more like practicing and learning about coding and stuff. But it doesn't really count. Lancelot is really my first baby, and also a very big project. As you know, making a game is such an adventure and so much work. And also doing a Kickstarter is such a you know what I mean. It's such a challenge and
it can be painful thing. I will have a couple questions about Kickstarter as well. But did I read correctly that you actually learned programming somewhere?
Yes. My background is I'm a graphic designer. That was my study, at the university. And, I think 10 years ago, I learned programming in school for about 1 year. I already code when I was a teen. I'm 40, so my teenage year is in the 20th century. It's in the 90s. So
I know, I'm 42. So
okay, so we're both 20th century boys.
Ew.
And at the time, being a gamer on PC means coding a bit, or at least doing some DOS instruction, and you were more familiar with the technical stuff. So coding was a bit natural to do, and I had the curiosity of it. So When I was a teen, I started little project and little game stuff, in Basic and stuff. But 10 years ago, I just take some really serious courses to learn program. It doesn't mean I'm a good programmer now, but I'm getting more professional because besides making game, I'm also a freelance coder. And well, it's very easy comparing to making games. Coding for big capitalist companies is very, very, very easy. And
why is it so? I have no idea. Why? What's easy there?
It's a good question. It's easy because the needs. Because frankly they have lots of money, so they don't care. No, but seriously, for instance, getting a few €1,000 or a few $1,000 on Kickstarter is such a challenge, and it's very, very difficult because you have to beg for every cent. But in companies, without giving too much detail, but I work for some, I'm based in Belgium, so I work with my partner. I work for big lobbies in Brussels. So they have lots of money and they don't care. They can give you a few €1,000 for making stuff on websites, and because they have big budgets and stuff. So it's a good balance when you're a game developer, because it gives me, I can work maybe 1 week and have enough money to pay the rent and my food and stuff.
Okay,
so
I'll get my black book and I write your name in it.
But I'm fighting capitalism inside, from the inside.
Yeah.
No, but I think that when you make making games, you cannot do it for the money. You do it for the passion. Sometimes you can earn a lot of money, but it's based on luck and talent. Two things that I don't get much. And so it strikes a balance between getting money from Brussels lobby and there are also other companies, like more common companies, but it's easier because the problem, every creative jobs is a pain in the ass, because there's a lot of people out there. Maybe it's the nature of the job, because for instance, when you're a graphic designer and you design a logo, everybody in the company has an opinion about it.
I know. I was freelancing as graphic designer as well for a while. I know.
It's awful. Everybody has an opinion. More red, blah 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 blah, and give me free proposition. What the hell? It's insane. And people, really, graphic designers, get screwed a lot. But when you do more technical stuff, like in website, like, I don't know, put a captcha on the website,
more exact science stuff, basically.
Yes, nobody complains. It's like repairing a car. Does the brake actually can be used? Does it work or not? It's easier, and it's okay. I mean, I like it. And more important, I think I don't, even if the money was better with Lancelot, I think that it gives me freedom, because I don't, I have no pressure. Well, not much pressure. I can take my time. I can take a break if I need to. I can play games to feel my creativity and stuff. So it's a luxury I have.
It's a way healthier way of life, actually.
Yeah, it's very, very, very important for everybody who listens to us and want to make games. It's very, very important to be, to be careful about your mental health and the pressure and the crunch, because it can destroy a lot of people. And
People, families, it
yeah,
can go soak in the surroundings as well.
of
Whoa.
course, yes. And you're a father, so I hope your kids are. But no,
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah. It was
good.
mild food poisoning.
Okay, good.
Not like poisoning.
Yeah. So it's not, it was not a big deal. But for instance, when you making games or when you run a Kickstarter like you do at the moment,
Hmm.
getting your kids a bit sick, even if it's not that bad, but it takes time, it takes mental power, and yeah, it's difficult. And we work all the time
Yes.
because it's our passion. Yeah, it's tough. So I think it's important to if you can have extra job as a freelance to get a bit of money, and hopefully coding pays well. I mean, it's better to be to code than I don't know work for Uber Eats or McDonald's or you know
Of course.
uh, when you can do it, it's better. But it's
Sure.
tough. For sure.
Okay. Then the second question was,
Mhm.
how did the story came to be?
Oh,
Yeah, it's probably there's some reasons behind.
oh yes. There's a big reason. Actually, I always wanted to make a retro point and click game like Monkey Island. When I was a teen, uh, it was a phenomenon to play Monkey Island or Indiana Jones 3. That was the triple A of the time when we were teen or 12.
Mhm.
And after and when the Kickstarter campaign back, the Broken Age Kickstarter campaign
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
went live, that was really an epiphany for me. I was learning coding actually, and I was surrounded by very young people around me. I was 32 at the time, and the rest of my classmates were in their early 20s. And they told me about point and click games and Kickstarter, and you can make a game and gain some money and millions of dollars. Of course, I didn't expect to to earn millions of dollars on Kickstarter, obviously, but I realized that there is a public for that kind of game and some nostalgia. And I realized that no, I can code, I can draw, I can write stuff. So maybe try the adventure and try myself. Again, it was not about earning millions of dollars and buying, fancy cars and, and stuff. But it was more like, okay, I can do it, I can try it, and actually it worked. I made my game. I run the Kickstarter and successfully being funded, and
Mm-hmm.
it's marvelous because at the time in the 20th century, making a point and click game was unbelievable, and now everybody can make one. I mean, everybody who is motivated and can put some times on it can make his or
Yeah,
her
yeah.
own
The
game.
resources are not behind some wall now anymore.
Yes,
You can have an engine, and you can have courses or tutorials, and just go from there. But
and
I'm
and that
mm,
and this is a revolution. I think that most young people don't realize that. A lot of people say, internet is full of shit, full of uh, silly video on TikTok, teenager dancing and stuff. But yeah, of course it is. But what I
it's also
realized
true.
is, yeah, it's true. But what I realize is that there's so much knowledge that everybody who is motivated can learn. I mean, and the global skill of the universe is going up and up. For instance, when I was a teen, I tried to learn guitar, and I was passionate about rock and roll and stuff. And it was very difficult to get some information. And of course, there was guitar method, but I had lots and lots of technical questions. And my teacher at the time,
Mhm.
he was really a jerk, and he doesn't really reply. And nowadays, I can watch some tutorials about guitar on YouTube, and there are so many things. And when I go to social media, watching teenager or adults playing guitar, I'm really amazed by the quality of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really a revolution for maybe nerds like us to learn so many things. And you know, you feel that sky is the limit. You can learn everything. It's just about, you know, work and spending hours and hours to learn. But I like this freedom. And
Well, 20 years ago, you were blocked by that jerk. Now internet gives us a way just to connect to the right
yes,
people who are not jerks. Which
yes,
amazes me. I already said that a couple times that the game development community was a really, really big surprise for me, how friendly it is. Because
yes.
I came right from the photography freelancing
Okay,
as a
good.
professional. So, and at least here, the undertones in like almost all conversations are uh, uh, really not friendly. You feel
Hmm.
that like uh, the other person has some secret agenda. It's paranoia, but I see it from still and everywhere when I actually don't care anymore. So the game dev community is wow awesome.
And it actually a bad strategy to don't help each other because when you talk about photography, I remember that time. You know, the kind of bad competition and as you said, a secret agenda because uh, some people think that we're all in competition, and if you win, I lose, and stuff like that.
Yeah. That ooh,
But
how can people actually live like that for 20, 30 for their lives? To see everything as a competition, it's like, bro, it's scary.
and this is not actually this is a bad strategy because you know, first of all, having around you people who succeed, who have, you know, who have contacts, who have visibility on social
Mm-hmm.
media
Mm-hmm.
will help you. You know, for instance, we are talking now, and this is good for you for your promotion. This is good for my promotion. We can learn from each other. We can, you know, it's good. We're not a competition. We can seriously. I really mean it because if we follow each other on Twitter, if we retweet each other on Twitter, it's good for everybody. And
Exactly.
and yeah, and especially in video games, there really no competition because it's a bit like restaurants. I mean, for instance, an Indian restaurant and a Turkish restaurant are not in competition because you don't want to eat. I love Indian food, but I don't want Indian. I don't want to eat Indian food every day. You know,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I need to change. And in video games, it's the same. Sometimes I play Skyrim or AAA games, and sometimes I play very little games.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, yeah, that's not competition. But hopefully, it's very healthy in the dev community. Hopefully.
Yeah, but actually, you did not answer my question though.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
How did the story? How the actual story came to be?
Yeah. So yeah, good, good. I I saw this Kickstarter campaign with Broken Age, and that was really an epiphany for me. So I started to, and surprisingly, what I did is that I didn't make a point and click game. I started with a very silly Facebook game because I don't know. I thought I was getting more mainstream would be a good idea, but it was really not because I don't like Facebook game. I don't play those games, and I'm not the
Amen.
public of it. So I don't know what is exciting for people who play those kind of games. And so it was really a bad idea. But what happened is that this is the emotional part of it. But actually,
Yep.
my father was diagnosed with cancer, and you know that's kind of a that would be the only sad moment of the interview. But That was kind of an electroshock, and all the cliche thing came out, like life is short. And so I realized that, okay, man, you want to do a point and click game, do it. And then I started to being serious about making a game, and that was some kind of a wake up call. And I'm really good at it. But I think that even if my father didn't die, I think I would make a point and click game. But that was a wake up call. And yeah, I'm really, really glad, and because making your dream games is such a personal achievement, no matter the sales and the reception and the critics and the press, whatever, because you don't control it. But what you control is that actually make the game, finish it, be proud of your work, learn so much, having fun, meeting a lot of people. I think that's the most rewarding thing with the game is I met so many passionate people. But again, when we were teens, I was passionate about point and click games, but I was the only kid in my school being passionate about those kind of games. And now there's thousands of people in the internet, like you, for instance.
What's over? Yeah.
It's there is such a big community thanks to the internet, and I met so many great people.
What could you say? What's your one of the best experiences outside the actual making game? You mentioned that you meet people and do things outside your development office.
Yes, I think outside.
You can be vague here.
No. Yeah, but I think that besides actually making the game and being alone in front of your computer, I think that
which is amazing.
Which is yeah, it's amazing. I love it. I love it. I'm a nerd, so I love it. But I think that meeting people is great because I met people in South Germany, which are really, really close friends. We go hiking in the mountains together. I met a lot of people in Adventure X in London every year. Well, when there's no coronavirus. And it's great to see so many passionate people. And also, I think that on a more personal level, I think that making a game gives you a lot of confidence because, it's funny because when I was an art student, or even I also did some graphic design freelancing jobs, but this is very short. I don't know about you, but this is very short works. You for instance, you work on 1 week or 2 weeks on a logo.
That's a max. Yeah.
That's the max. And when you finish, okay, next job. But when you make a game, it's such a huge project that when you finish, you have, I don't know, it's like making going to Beijing by bike, it's such an amazing experience that you will remember. And frankly, my advice for every developer who finished the game is to give yourself a present, something expensive and fancy that you don't really need. For instance, I bought a new bike.
If you have any money left, that is.
but it can be, I don't know, 100 euros or something, whatever. It's more like a symbol, but it's really, really important to give yourself a present because nobody will do, first of all. And then it's marked the stones. But I like it. I mean, it's funny, but the big achievement, I love it because it gives importance. But in other ends, that's the problem with video games, is that everything takes so much time. Even I don't know.
Yes.
A lot of people say show stuff even in early stage, show prototypes to other, but even crafting a small prototype takes months. You
And
know,
actually, says that? Other game developers saying that. Not actually, I presume, actual players who like play
yeah.
the games. I don't think they're really interested in your prototype, but at all. So that's like,
That's very true. Yeah, that's I didn't thought about that, but you are actually right, because yeah, it makes sense, because players doesn't care about prototypes. They want the full experience. You know,
yeah,
when you watch a movie, when I don't know, you don't want to see the prototype of Quentin Tarantino. You want the full edited
of course,
film
yes.
with the good sound and all the actors and stuff. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Um,
And
um, yeah.
yeah, no, go for it.
I kind of to continue the story. I have no idea if I heard that somewhere or I just thought of it. But you like Monty Python,
Yeah,
right?
a
Yes.
lot, a lot.
Awesome. Nice to meet you, man. Was it? And of course, you try to incorporate that style of comedy into
Mhm.
your game. Uh, um, and beyond the fact that actually comedy games, I think, is really hard to do just because uh, you have to know how to joke. A lot of people. Hmm, well, there's instances that the comedy game is just not funny, just not
Yeah.
fun. Uh, what were your biggest challenges actually incorporating Phew. in incorporating jokes into the game and puzzles? Because you probably need to take into account that as well, that you have to build a puzzle.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. Actually, I had a background. Before making games,
Yeah, I
uh,
know. I
I
came
was
prepared.
good, good. I
But
work
yeah.
as a comedy writer, and so I wasn't scared about being funny or not, because I was already paid for writing jokes.
You are.
And yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's not because you're confident that you are really skilled, but
Nobody says that confidence is bad.
yeah, of course, yeah, yes, of course, you're right, because I really, it's funny, because when I started making jokes on video games, I really didn't question myself. Yeah, of course I'm funny. But I think, besides the joke, I think it's important when you making jokes to be confident, because that's a trick about about comedy writing, is that, for instance, when you go on stage, uh,
Mhm.
being confident makes you funny. Because at the end of the day, even if you're not funny, people will tell. And when you see, for instance, when you watch, late night host, in America, sometimes they make a joke and it doesn't work, but they have tricks to catch up the situation,
Mhm.
or do something else. And most importantly, I think that in comedy writing, there's a rule called the rule of nine. It means that from 10 jokes, nine of them won't work.
Uh-huh.
Only one will work. It's really funny, because even I don't know, Seinfeld. I'm not comparing to Seinfeld, but really good, extremely good comedians. What they do is that they write jokes and they test it in front of
Yeah,
audience
yeah, yeah.
in clubs, and they realize that on 10 jokes, only one really works, and then they remove everything, and then they write again and stuff, because you cannot know, even if you're really, really funny, you cannot know what will work or not. and
Of
and
course.
even when you don't a professional writer, in general in life, sometimes you say very serious things, and people laugh. you know, and you don't try to be funny, but the people laugh. And when you try
And
to
then you
be funny,
cry, and then
yes,
they
and then
laugh
you cry.
again.
But I don't know. It's a mystery. Humor is a mystery. So I think that what you have to do is a lot of quantity, and then and hopefully, as I work alone, I think it's
Mhm.
easier because I can write some jokes at one moment and work, on design and drawings for a month or two, and then go back to reread stuff that I wrote months
Mhm.
earlier. And then if I still think it's funny, then I keep it. And if it doesn't make me laugh, I remove it. Because I always have, because everything takes so much time that you know the jokes can be put aside for a long period of time. So when I reread it, it's like fresh and new. So
Mhm. Okay.
but and you also, I think humor is a very personal thing. So um, it's always tricky. Actually, it's interesting because dealing with humor is very very tricky because you cannot please everyone
Well,
because
that's sure. But I think the most important thing could be also to actually realize that you're not that funny as a
Mhm.
person.
Yes, and yeah, I think so because it's it's also very technical. Humor is very technical. It's about timing. It's about just some tricks, and yeah, and you're right. You don't need to be super funny every second of your normal life.
Of
When I
course.
wake up in the morning, I'm not funny. I don't know, when I go to the supermarket, be sure I'm really not funny.
Hmm.
No.
Actually, the next question is a bit about this
Hmm.
technicality, the making of a puzzle. How does
Yeah.
it relates to the joke writing? Yeah, and the like side question is
Mhm.
to hear jokes for hours on end. To be in a comedy, I think it's really tough on a person. So how did you deal with that as well?
Well, for the puzzle, I have a trick. I have actually, when I play point and click games, it could be today point and click games or classic point and click games.
Hmm.
When I see a puzzle, I write it down in a Google document. So I really have, like, I don't know, hundreds of puzzles in a Google document. I just write the mechanic,
Uh-huh.
and it could be something very simple, like give an object to somebody else, or it could be I don't know, play with colors or play with sound or distract somebody, blah blah blah. So I've got a lot of
That's interesting, man.
yes. I think I really encourage. I really, I think that every people should do it if you want to be a design puzzle, because then I have my list, and when I need some idea, I just read it. And sometimes I even use role playing dice, with
Mm-hmm.
20 20
Yeah.
dice,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And I just go to random. I think of a room, an environment, some characters and stuff, and just I go random in my list. And then sometimes, a lot of time, it doesn't click, it doesn't fit.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I've got ideas, and I just start from that. So I'm not really creative in my puzzle. It's just redo stuff that was already done, and I just change the
Improving.
settings,
Yeah.
and I think it's a good hack. It's a good trick because
How much for your list?
sorry.
You can sell it, man. How much for it? How much is it?
I can give you for free. It's in French, but no, seriously, I can send it for free. I can send it to you. It's in French, but with Google Translate, you can read it. I mean, it's free. It's open source, and And I will send it to you. And and if listeners want this list, I mean, it's open source. I mean, I just copy paste the things I see on games, so it's public, and I don't care because it's just a starter for IDs, and then you
Of
put
course.
your
The golden heart of game developers.
yes.
Here, an example.
And also I want sorry about that, but I also want to play good point and click games. So that's why I also open to share my list, because I want to play good games.
Oh,
so.
in the end, you're just egoistic. Oh, come on.
Yeah, of course. Sharing is egoistic. Yes, exactly.
Cool. Okay, let's get back to Kickstarter a bit. I looked up the chart of
Yes.
statistics of your campaign, and it's like,
Mhm.
the flow of that graph is like really steady, and sometimes there are the days I feel that I'm doing something, but I get nothing in return, and it's like killing me. But you have managed to actually steadily climb up to your goal. What did you do right there?
I think that, and I'm looking at your Kickstarter right now, and I think it's really good, because actually the timing of a campaign, and you know it, but it's also for the listeners, that you have a rush in the first or first day, and then you have the awful part, the really painful part, and you're in the middle of it, which is kind of a plateau, and then it goes really slow, and every you've got every dollar is getting really slow, and but hopefully at the end of the campaign, the last 2 or 3 days, there's a rush. But it's very stressful. So you're doing right, actually, and I think, really seriously, I think you will get funded. And, but in my case, it was really stressful, because I really get funded, like, really in the last minute, like.
Yeah, but till then, you're actually climbing really steadily day from the day to day to day to day.
Because I begged
you
with no
spammed.
shame. Yeah, no, not really spam, but no, I understand what you mean, but it's more like begging than spamming, because at one point what I did, I was not really comfortable with it, but at one point I wrote an update and say, okay, if you can raise your pledge. I know you already give me money, and it's a shame to ask more money from my supporters, but if you can raise your pledge, that will make a difference. And a lot of people, I don't know, they gave me €10, and then they switched to 20, and that really gave a push to be funded. But this is really amazing that people
still trust.
Yeah,
that's amazing that people still trust, because sometimes you see some campaigns, won't mention them, and you just, why? They're ruining thing for backers, for other developers, with obvious scams, and it's like painful.
Yeah, we have an advantage as really small campaign, because
True.
everybody knows that we will go to the end of the project. For instance, with GRUND, everybody knows that you will finish the game. Maybe it will take time, but when you will be funded, I know that the money, with the money you won't pay like corporate salaries and stuff. You have another job, so you know what I mean. It's not like when you raise $1 million and you have to actually pay employees when you don't have any money left. The project is
just you're
ends.
stuck. Yeah,
you're stuck, and that's why there's so many scams. But with budgets lower than, I don't know, with project like us with 10,000. I mean, you don't have any money anyway. You don't have enough money anyway. You work on your free time, so the project will finish. Of course, it can. Especially for Lancelot, it took me a lot of time because
How long did you make it?
The game was released last year.
Yeah.
In 2020, and the Kickstarter was in 2016.
16.
So 16, yeah, 4 years. Yeah.
You took your time.
But I took my time. But it's also it's funny with Kickstarter because you propose something, and then when you fund it, you want to increase the scope of it. Give more polish and stuff. I don't know if it's a good idea also, but I think that on a first game, it's normal to do it.
I think it's totally bad idea to think that you should polish some more than you thought beforehand, because you can go into the woods and get lost there in polishing the woods.
Yes, it's complicated because you want to give the maximum of polish, and also you have to be indulgent. You have to be friendly to yourself because it's a first game, so you don't really know what you're doing. I mean,
hey! No, I am not accepting this.
But it's not offensive because even AAA studio. Yeah, I know, of course, but it's funny because even AAA studio like CD Projekt, they actually don't know what they're doing. See Cyberpunk. I mean, I'm not bitching against them. I love them, but even big studio, they're late. They publish games with a lot of bugs. So I think that as game developer, we should be friendly to ourselves and say that it's a young industry, and everybody is late, and because we are discovering things as we go, and it means that we go to new challenges and try to do new stuff. I think that if when a game is not late, maybe they're not working enough, or they go just they just do. I don't know.
Well, in any case, I think the most important thing is just don't lie. Keep the people in the loop what you're doing, so people are understanding creatures.
Yes.
Not all of them, but anyways,
most of them. Sorry, but most of them are really. They understand, and actually they really don't care. Real gamers doesn't care about if you're late, because there's so many games out there. So
sure.
it's not like it depends on your game. It's not like you're a medical lab crafting a vaccine against COVID. If you're late, whatever. It's no big deal.
Okay. About that, you mentioned, and I mentioned as well. About that. You continue to work on your game, and I want that little bit too, and I'm gonna polish that as well. Is there something that you wanted to do but did not implement in the final game?
Yes. I don't know. It's a good question. Not really, actually. I think that, well, to be honest, I think that I especially on the first game, you learn why you're making it, and the tricky thing is that you
learn a lot. Yeah,
you learn a lot, and then you get better. But the problem is that you work on stuff you made years earlier that you can be can be different. For instance, some puzzles maybe it should be a bit better, but I design in a way that I cannot change them, during polish.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's I don't know. That's the part of the creation. So, but no, I think I don't have much regrets
That's
because
cool.
and I think that at the end of the project I was really fed up with it, and I really it's like you cook every day for years the same meal and you eat it every day, and then even if you love it, you just spend too much time with it,
Yeah, you totally have to have a break.
Yes, I cannot play. It's funny because um, it's more than one. It's been published, last year,
Mm-hmm.
and for months and months, I really cannot even see a screenshot from my own game because that was too much. I want to do something else, and I work on something else.
Yeah, that was my next question. What are you doing? What are you preparing for us now?
I'm working for on a new game. Basically, it will be sort of a sequel in the theme, and it's still comedy, it's still point and click, it's still medieval, and there's still Lancelot in it. But it's not a sequel in the say in this. It will be a lot different on some puzzles. Even the graphics, the art will be a bit different. So
Oh,
I'm experimenting stuff. I really take my time to do something a bit different
sure.
because I think again it's really really important that I enjoy making games. It will be really silly to do it for the money, because I don't depend on this money, and I really want to please myself, to learn new stuff, and you know. But I
Mhm.
take my time, so I think that maybe the final game will be published in 2 years or something. I don't show much because it's really changing a lot, even
Because
in the
yeah.
gameplay. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it's difficult because I don't want to show too early, because I don't want to show stuff and then 3 months later show something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And also I think that talking too early about a project can really ruin the hype. The hype. I mean,
Yeah, some
uh,
people will think, "Oh, no, that's the thing I don't like," and after a year, they hear about you again, and I remember those guys
yeah,
suck.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's and as you said, showing prototypes or unpolished stuff, a lot of people will think this is the final project, and so I don't know. I don't try to put some pressure on it, and
Mm-hmm.
and also marketing is a really important thing. That I think that
Oh,
I'm a
yes.
bit stressed about showing stuff, and then for 3 months nothing. I think that when you're ready to show stuff, you have to have a sort of an agenda and say, okay, every week I will try to show stuff.
And you better not repeat yourself as well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. You said that you like rock.
Yeah, a
I
lot.
presume that you are not a Sunday church person.
No. Well, I was raised in a
No, well,
Catholic
yeah,
family,
yeah.
and I respect religion, blah blah blah. But I'm not a believer. Yeah.
Since you like rock, you probably know Ghost.
Ghost.
Yes, the
The
band Ghost. They're Swedish
um,
Scandinavian.
is it metal or something?
It's kind of rock slash metal.
Okay, like
Anywho, they have music like pretty popsy, and one song they have is called "He Is," and they, of course, they are singing about our father below, not above.
Okay. Yes.
But the feeling, the sound of that song is like really like churchy song, like
Mm-hmm.
preachy song, and I always I want I always sometimes I think if I would be DJ in a Catholic or anything like party, I would put this song in because it's so churchy and it would be the best. But my question was, it's really big prelude. You were doing graphic design for Belgian Catholic Church.
Yes. Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah, that this one bit I took from your website, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Probably there's some funny stuff in it. Because it sounds, at least here, when I see local, I have no idea why I see them, but when I see local, for example, church websites, it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's a back to 80s or something.
Yes. Oh, yes. That was really funny because I really get this job by pure chance. It's as you know, it's very difficult to get a real employee job
Mm-hmm.
as a graphic designer. So I just sent my resume to a lot of company, and then I had this job opportunity for the Catholic Church, and I think that my background, I was in a Catholic school for all my school years.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they liked it, but they realized quite quickly that I was not a really churchgoer. But they don't care. I mean, as that. Um, and yeah, that was funny because yeah, as you said, it's not like working in the Silicon Valley. Of course,
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
it's not like the top-notch technology. And actually, I was making layout for your newspaper.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I came, the guy I was the
Replacing.
guy who made my job, yeah, the guy I replaced was still working on paper. So with scissor,
Oh,
glue,
wow.
yeah, it's like really like it's like working in the 50s or something. So because he learned that way and he didn't change. So I was the first guy with a computer, and that was I don't know in 2004 or something. And so
Hmm.
so when I came with my skills, my computer skills, and it was like I was like the Messiah or Jesus,
Yeah.
yeah, it's so quick and so. But yeah, that was yeah, that was not a really funny to be honest. That was not really a funny experience,
Okay.
and it was also really badly paid, because
Yeah, it's
yeah,
probably it's one of their characteristics because
yes, oh
they
yes.
expect that everybody will do everything for free because
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah, because you work for. Yeah, but I mean, it's a job. Yeah, but it's a bit of a scandal because I think that treating the people well and give them honest money. It's important, and I had extra hours not paid
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, like in a lot of jobs. But it was funny because they always said me, "Oh, we don't have money." Seriously, you're the Catholic Church. Go to the
Yeah, why
Vatican.
not?
I wanted to go to a church and take some golden statue or whatever. You owe me money. But yeah, that was funny. But yeah, that was a bit depressing. But at the end of the day, it's a
It's
it's a
a
job.
job, yeah.
Yeah, because if I was a layout graphic designer for I don't know every the topic of the article doesn't matter. I have to
Of
do. I
course,
have to
yeah, yeah.
find.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be an erotic magazine that would be the same work. I mean, there obviously more photos and less text, but and yeah, that was a job. Yeah. No.
Okay. Yeah, I've done that thing as well for
Mm.
some time. So yeah, I actually about those graphic designers. You said that that's a tough job, especially when people on the client side everybody judges their
Yeah.
and sometimes, yeah, it especially nowadays, I meet the guy who I know him for 20 years and he's still graphic designer.
Okay.
I'm saying like, man, I cannot imagine how you can do this job for 20 years, how you're not
Yes.
killed yourself yet.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. It actually depends on on how you manage your clients. I mean, it's a bit off topic, but I think that what I learned is that when you're freelance, is that you need to not show off a little bit, but for instance, you have to impose really high prices because it's funny. It's psychology. Like
Yeah,
if you
expensive.
yeah, if you're really expensive, clients realize that, oh, it's so expensive, this guy must be good, but it's just psychology, and when you have cheap price, you only attract bad clients.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, it's funny because when you start as a graphic designer, you made logo for very family companies like pizzeria or restaurants or whatever, and
Yeah.
and and it's a pain in the ass because the clients will tell you the story of his family, and my grandfather came from Italy and
Yeah.
founded the first pizza in Belgium, blah blah blah. And it's interesting, but I'm not paid when you tell me your story. So if you set high price, then you only work with big companies like, I don't know, Coca-Cola or Nestle, and
Only,
and
only.
and they don't care because it's not their baby, it's not their money, so
Of
so
course.
it's better. But I think that's it's completely off topic, but I think that in graphical schools they should teach us how to deal with clients, but
And make
one bad.
taxes and stuff as well.
Yes, of course. But the problem with school is that it's full of teacher, and lots of teachers don't have that experience as freelance. So I'm not bitching against teacher. I love teacher. It's
Everybody knows that you're not bitching.
but
It's okay.
but
It's
but it's I think it's really important because as you said, your friends who is working for 20 years as a graphic designer, it's complicated, and also the problem is that you lose passion, and
yeah. Yeah. That's the second thing.
yeah, and that's really a shame because at one point, um, it Kurt Cobain says that when he before he signed with before the success of Nevermind, playing
Mm-hmm.
guitar and making concert was a passion, and he almost paid to be on stage, and then it becomes a job. After the success, it becomes a job, and
Job, yeah.
and sometimes you're, oh no, I must do another concert, and it's a shame because and I think that's it's difficult, but when you reach that point, you need to set aside and take a break, and try to find help, and yeah, it's difficult. It's very difficult.
Yeah, yeah, but while you're doing that, you have to eat. Oh, well, on this depressive note,
Yes.
we started with the depressing things, I think,
Mhm.
and let's end it as well. Everything will be good.
And I see some. Thank you for mentioning Ghost, the band. I didn't know them, and I'm looking at some picture, and I really love the aesthetics,
Yeah, they
and
are good.
the bishop hat and something like it. It sounds like metal, which
Kinda. Yeah.
I like it, and they even Lego figures. Yeah. I will listen to them.
And that frontman actually was incognito till recent years. Nobody knew who he was. And this is it. I surely enjoyed this conversation. You, of course, you did. Thank you for listening, and see you in the next episode. Now again, Kickstarter. If you have not yet already, please do support Grund. And write some comments. I really would love to see and to have a chat with anyone. Talk to me. So yeah, I'm not that desperate, but I love to chat. So yeah, bye. 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 Bye.